just can't believe I've waited all these years, or it's taken all these years, and for these obstacles that we were faced to get to this point, to the sweet spot. And I mean, when you first start, another thing I want to mention to husbands is don't stop opening the car door. Don't stop sliding the chair back far. Don't stop. It's the little things.
So we were talking about the leadership of a male. If he leads one direction, she's going to follow. If he leads another direction, she's going to follow. And it's just the nature of the female to follow. And it's the responsibility of the male to understand that, because if he thinks he's doing anything in a negative way or a sinful way, he's opening those doors spiritually to her. That's what you guys don't understand in the unity of the marriage and how God created the institution and her innate ability to follow.
And to take it one step further is, if you have children, the children see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do. And we wonder why our generation looks like it does. It's true. It is true. And so what would you tell men that are struggling with narcissism? And I want you to describe narcissism from your view. You said a few things like need to be right. Describe it from your view of who you were and what you think about that.
So, not all narcissistic men are aggressive, but I was aggressive, rage, prideful, selfish, extremely selfish, arrogant. I mean, if you open the book and look at the word, there's a picture of me there. Always had to be right. It was bad.
And you looked at your wife in that mindset of narcissism as whom and as what?
I didn't realize this, but I looked at her as before as beneath me.
Mm. Because she was a woman, or what?
No, because I didn't think of it that way because she was a female. It's just that it's me. I can do all these things. I can fix all these things. I have all the answers. In which, guys, we don't. We're not even close to having all the answers. You'd be amazed that once you get past the narcissistic, arrogant ways, your partner has a lot of good answers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so what would you tell men who are struggling with some of these things, as well as gaslighting to shut her down and turn the situation upon her and blame shifting and all the stuff that's pretty common to narcissism, avoidance of conflict? What would you tell those guys?
Back up and look at yourself. You need to back up. Don't wait 15, 20, 25 years in your marriage, because that's 15, 20, 25 years of not good years that you should be having. Mm-hmm. You really need to take and back up and look at it. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with self-reflection.
So would you say you were sabotaging your own self in your own marriage?
Oh, 100%.
Mm-hmm. And would 100%. You say that you were destroying your wife as a human in the process?
And tearing her down in the process. You can destroy somebody by doing one thing. This was a very painful, torturous process that she was going through. And I never realized it. I mean, I've known my wife, I'm 52 years old. I've known my wife since I was 9 years old, mm-hmm. And I never thought that if you truly love someone, you don't tear them down like that. And mm-hmm. What's so bad is, as a narcissistic individual, you don't realize that you're doing it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I learned early on in my career, the expert always comes from out of town. And so, and we'd never met before this. I'd never heard of Suzette. And some of the things that you told me, I'm like, no way. It's not me. She, she don't get it. She don't understand my situation, especially when I initially contacted you to say, hey, you need to fix my wife.
Mhm.
It wasn't about fixing me. But before my wife could be fixed, you had to fix me. I had to be fixed.
Mhm.
And I had to take and just back up and just swallow a little bit of pride to realize it is me. It is my behavior, my outlook on life, my outlook on others. I've got a huge social circle, very huge social circle. Uh, but now it's just everything's a whole lot better. You sleep better at night. You wake up at peace. You're not waking up knowing that you're going to have to challenge the world. You know, now you can take on those same challenges with a whole different mindset.
Mhm. And
People are more willing to take and follow you if you show empathy and compassion.
Mhm.
And
and when
I've had, like I said, because of my career, I've always been in leadership roles, and I've had people that would charge the hill for me. But I can tell you now, they'd charge those hill. They would charge the hill with me with the odds totally against us. And it's just amazing because of my outlook, of my delivery, my methods, empathy. Again, I go back to empathy and compassion, and it's got to start at the house.
Mhm. And as you healed, did you notice she healed?
Wow. Uh, she's no longer on eggshells. And I did again, and I have to keep going back to reflecting back then. I didn't realize she was on eggshells, walking on eggshells, or felt intimidated, felt belittled. I used that word a couple of times. Now she's definitely open to ideas, or she offers ideas, offers a lot of suggestions. The dialogue and the communication, in my job, I'm has always been considered the fixer. When things are wrong, they send me in to fix it. They send me for conflict resolution. Uh, it's amazing that I've been very successful in my career doing those things, and the things that has made me successful in my career, I was lacking at home.
Mhm.
You know, um, but yeah, it's amazing. And I just can't believe I've waited all these years, or it's taken all these years, and for these obstacles that we were faced uh, to get to this point, to the sweet spot. And I mean, when you first start, another thing I want to mention to husbands is don't stop opening the car door. Don't stop sliding the chair back far. Uh, don't stop. It's the little things. And Lord have mercy, I've been blessed now, Suzette, with your process to see the little things that you do that are positive, that affect your wife. Um, the smile on her face, um, coming home in the evening, you get greeted at the door with that glass of sweet tea and the smile and the kiss, and the patio time and the issue nights. There is no more. I mean, there's no issues. It's conversation. It's two-way dialogue.
Mhm.
Um, it's amazing, the process. I don't know how you come up with this process, but it works. If the guys would just be willing to swallow that boot and listen and go through the process, they'll be a better man. They'll be a better husband and a better father.
And you now fully, authentically love yourself.
100%. Um, it's it's amazing that the joy that I get now is, I mean, just to see my wife when I walk in the door and she's, God, I've missed you today. I said, baby, I've only been gone 2 hours. I know, but it seemed like forever, you know. Uh, or actually, she again, she's starting up her business, and it's becoming very, very successful. And she said, "Hey," she said, "I think today is to." She's how she put it. Let me get this right. I think today is bring your spouse to work day. I said, do I? She said, would you mind coming with me today? I said, I'd love to go with you today. And and before she was all about anything that I wanted to do, right? She just was there with me, you know. And now I've taken interest. Um, she'd had some health issues in the past, and when we go to the doctors and stuff, I'd go to the initial doctors, right? Appointments. I can tell you now that some of the health issues she said, I have not missed but 2 doctor's appointments. And when the doctor come into the room, it was a video conference call, and I was able to answer all of the doctor's questions. I've engaged in her needs, mentally and physically.
Mhm. And that's not because I told you to do that. That's just something flowing out of your own heart, right?
Yeah, it just happened. I mean, you know, and she's like, uh, I mean, even the little things, you know, going to pick up the prescriptions and stuff like that. And she was pretty ill here, not too long ago, and I got up that morning, and I'm an early riser 7 days a week. And I got up, and around 8 o'clock, I went to taking him, trying to call the doctor's office and stuff. Couldn't get it. Then we went to an after hours clinic, and got there. Wasn't happy with the results there. Um, and I mean, they did a little bit for her. I'm not saying they didn't. She wasn't getting any better that night. And the next morning at 6 a.m., I text the doctor and said, look, and this has been our doctor for 15 years. And I said, I know I've never done this, but I really need to have an appointment for my wife today. And she saw us that day and went to the doctor, took her to the doctor. And she said, what's wrong? And I was able to say, hey, this is the signs and symptoms and all this. And she actually got the right prescription, right medications that she needed. And the next day, it was a whole different her. You know, she was better. But before, it would be, if I was to make the doctor's appointment, which I really doubt that I would have, I'd have been more like, what did you call the doctor? Well, no, well, why you think you still feel bad? You hadn't called the doctor. You need to make an appointment.
Told you
You
so.
know,
Mhm. Mhm.
I mean, you know, uh, I mean, that's just the way I was before, but that's the way and I, again, coming from a very hard household of growing up that way, right? Um, I mean, we grew up hard, we grew up simple, um, and not saying it was wrong, but the tools they had, right? And now I just doing it totally. I'm doing it right, and it's not me saying I'm doing it right. It's my wife saying, "God," and I hear this. I am so in love with you all over again.
Mm.
God, where did this man come from? This is amazing, you know. Um, yeah, it's great. It's great.
So, just for my mission's sake, would you testify that a narcissist can change?
100%.
Okay.
100. But you know, it's like an like an addict. You know, they don't know that they have a problem until the right person identifies, or they themselves identify that they have a problem. You know, again, never thought. And that's the thing about those of us that are narcissistic, men or women. We don't know that we're that away. We
Mhm.
don't reckon that that's us. You know, you real quick to look at other arrogant people. "Oh, that's an arrogant pompous ass." Well, you need to be standing on that side of the room as well. But yes, most definitely they can change.
You and your wife, your precious wife, have been such a pleasure for me to work with. And again, you stepped up to the plate faster and did the work faster than anybody I've ever coached before. And I wanted to have the opportunity to let you express that. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud that, you stand among men and be able to say, hey, you really do the work and you do what you need to do. You can kind of get in and out of this process without a lot of resistance. And so you've not shown any resistance. And even in the beginning when you were like, what in the world you telling me about myself? You know, you took it like a champ. We didn't go through too many weeks of that. I remember you really starting to realize, okay, I need to change some of this. And when you did, you started getting the fruit. You started, I mean, change is only going to happen when we see a gain, no matter what we do. And so when men specifically see a change occurring that's bringing them reward, they will do it every time. It's
It,
just
it,
thinking it was another.
it's funny you mentioned reward because as a narcissistic, always looking for the next win, the next victory.
Mhm.
And husbands need to realize this is the sweet victory. This is the sweet win. This is the win that you never dreamed of.
That is a great way to close this. Billy, just thank you for taking the time out of your busy, busy, busy schedule and you know, sharing with me and sharing with guys that'll see this and women that'll see this to get some hope for their husbands. You know, hopefully they'll shove it in their husband's face and let them see it. But I know that you have been pretty grieved as you hear the, you know, chatter among men now, and you're kind of pointing your finger back to them to say, hey, it might be something you're doing, which I think we need men among men to do that and to say, you know, not that women are perfect. I mean, I do not stand in the gap and say, you know, women have to have everything that you're giving her. It's just when it comes from a man's heart, it gives back to him everything he wanted in the marriage anyway from her, you know. And you had a pretty long marriage where you had a supported wife anyway that was dealing with all of this abuse from neglect and you know, rage and gaslighting and being shut down. And she just kind of gotten to her end. You know, there's just a certain level that a woman can go, the distance of that. And you know, you stepped up to the plate, and I know she's very glad about that. I know that y'all are very happy. And most of my couples that I've had, you know, I've done this now 18 years, and I still get reports from them that were even 18 years ago that are saying they're really doing well, and they're still regretful for the years lost, but they are still doing well now. So that's wonderful. I mean, it just continues to pay dividends.
Yes, and thank you. And the struggle that we went through, the pain to get to this spot, it was worth it.
Well, thank you, Billy, and you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.